I'm glad you're here to listen to wonderful program coming to you. And please don't forget to subscribe or give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Yeah, welcome to KKTV and to our program. It has been a year. The Kenya election was done last year in August 9th, so it's a year now.
Yeah.
We want to look at what are some of the things achieved, targets missed, like that. There would be, it's a lot. This was the Kenya Kwanza administration came to power with pomp and with many promises. And President Ruto, before we go, I would like you to listen to what he said almost when the last day of the campaign, what he was saying directorate, and we want to base that and look at.
Mimi nataka niwaambie hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya. Kwa hii taxes wanaongeza usiku na mchana. Na mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa hapa Manga, tafadhali, mkiona tumesimama hapa mbele yenu, tunawaambia ya kwamba tutengeneze hiyo serikali inakuja ambayo inaelewa lugha ya mwananchi wa kawaida. Watu wa Manga, mko tayari?
Okay, those are and what are some of the things which have been achieved in this administration 1 year later? Dr. Nim.
Thank you again for inviting me to your show. And we don't know where really to begin because there were a gazillion number of promises that the Kwanza administration promised Kenyans. Every day they were giving promises, and some of those promises were really very specific, saying in 6 months, in 3 months, in X a number of days, once we take over power, the Hasra government, they will do ABCD. Now it's exactly 1 year down the road, and when we look at some of those promises, we completely see the opposite of what they were saying. You just played a clip of specifically talking about the prices of gasoline and how they did not know exactly what was the previous administration was doing and how much damage it was doing to the economy because of the prices. Since last year, I'm not sure which Kenyan can go and say, yes, the prices have come down or they have even stabilized where they were last year. And notwithstanding that, if you go back exactly 1 year today, the Kenya shilling was exchanging at 119 shillings. Today, it's exchanging at 150 shillings, meaning that the value of the money in people's pockets has gone down by exactly 45%. I mean, which Kenyan would be happy to be in such an economy? Granted, there are some of those promises that he has kept. One, and he's really trying so hard, is subsidizing the production of food. He promised to reduce the fertilizers from the high of 6,000 to less than 3,000. I hear this last month he has promised that it will actually be 2,500 shillings. The availability of that fertilizer is what we don't know, but he has kept saying that he has subsidized it. And that we can give him credit. But for the rest, I don't know. It's a big question.
Okay. Ben, what is your take on that?
Yeah. As Secretary said, I can't give
your sound is a little bit down.
Yeah, somebody's call. I can't be able to give him any credit at all because last time when we were here, I think people were telling me I was very harsh on him. Me, I even could be, in Parliament, I think I could have proposed for impeachment. That's the time last time we were here. So I can't give him a credit of anything because a little bit, as Dr. said, fertilizer is doing a little. But remember, there's corruption. I hear people are hiding fertilizers under the table. Some of them are selling more. So it doesn't make a big difference. I said last time, the approach, it was good, but the people he has around him are terrible. He could have realized that. As Dr. said, the dollar has gone high. If he had a very good economist around him, would have advised him to change tactics within 3 months when people were crying. So we are going to deep insight. Somebody was saying, which I agree with him, about the kind of people he has in the cabinet. Is a C or a D. Is not a student as other presidents who have been there before, who have done it. Even Moi, as he was, he picked the best CS, which gave a very good direction of Kenya. So he started very wrong foot. I don't give him any credit. He has let us down. He's the same president when he said, when he was almost getting the Bible, he said, as soon as I get that Bible down, I'll make sure corruption is eliminated. I have not seen what he has done about it. So he has done more damage.
Ben, I want to follow a question with you. You are saying that he needs to be fixed. What mistake has he done? I mean, how did he contribute to the economy being where it is, to the dollar? What is it? What did he contribute as a person?
Oh man, even people in Kenya can tell you. He said he doesn't want to do it with the dollar. That's the biggest mistake you can do. Then he said those who are keeping their dollars, wait. As he said that, you see what has happened.
So because of saying that, that's why we miss the dollars?
Oh, no. Yeah, he started, he said he's going to buy the cars using Kenya money. In exchange, you can't do that. Those who are dollars, Mr. Ondimu can tell us that economy, you know what he's talking about. The same time he talked about that, the dollar started going up. And he has not even realized it. He has not realized it.
Okay. Mr. Ondimu, I know you talked about, I think you talked about it is, and this is the current exchange rate now. The US dollar is buying at 141, selling at 149, and the British pound is 179, which you can see those numbers have really gone up. What are we supposed to do, or what could have, if you were to advise Ruto, what could have we avoided so that the dollar cannot go up?
You know, there are so many factors that go into the value of any currency, and not just one single of it will be really a determining factor. One of those is the stability and protection of how the government is projecting its own budgetary allocations, and two, the debt that the country holds and how they are structuring those debts against all other, especially all external debts that Kenya holds are due in the dollar form. So when those debt is due, and most of it was due in the month of August, and they look against what the current reserves are of the Kenyan government, that's the dollar reserves, then they look at it and see if you really can meet your obligations. And if you cannot, then that really will bring down your currency, because you are more likely than not to default. And also there are other things, like what are the fundamentals of the economy? How are they looking at? Where are you putting all your energy in terms of of developing the economy? Is there going to be production, or is it more consumption? Kenya is really, I don't know how we can call it. So if it's not very clear, the value of your currency then goes down. The fact that he took over the government and we have seen a devaluation that go that fast. I've never seen any that it go that fast, from 119 to 150 shillings. That is around 25 to 35% devaluation, meaning that whatever money that you had in the pocket at the time has gone down by that much. So there are a number of things that he could have done differently. If number one, he could have actually given the investor confidence. We have had and seen so many investors flee Kenya, and some of those who wanted to invest there have actually withdrawn their plans. Most recently, you saw a clip of the Tanzanian president, Mama Samia, saying that investors are fleeing the neighboring country to her country to invest. Those are some of the causes of devaluation of the Kenyan shillings. And critically, when a president of any nation opens his mouth and speaks, it means a lot. And if you are not consistent in what you say every day, then people will say this person is not serious. We cannot trust him. So at one point, Ruto says this, and the next minute he completely says the exact opposite of what he said. So investors don't know exactly what to believe. So those are some of the things, if anything, and my friend there, Pen, said that he has terrible aides in terms of CSS surrounding him. You're as good as the people you pick. As much as we frame those around him, I think he selected them. The effect of who he is. And I believe we need to hold him to account. And number two, in the previous administrations, we have had 2 to 3 key performers within the ministries. Select anyone within 1 year that you can run with and say, this is a performer. The only people that we have come up are people like the CS for Trade, who doesn't even know the limitations of his docket. He is all over the map, and he's actually like a goon himself, because he's plotting to kill people. So that is exactly what is killing and ailing our economy. It's a pity, actually.
Now, one of the things, Ben, you wanted to say something?
What before I say something, and he has just nailed it about the Tanzania government. The tourism, if you are not talking about the people, the investors, that's the backbone of the country. So people are not trusting him. Even the local, even you, Daktari, you are an investor. You can't go to pump the money in Kenya that nobody ready to work because the wounds are around. Everybody is want to steal your money. So that's number one thing. Number two is a correction of revenue. Exactly what the President Kibaki did. He is intending to correct money, yes, but the corrupt people around him are too many, and he's not even realizing it.
Okay. Now, as you say, and it's true, you said one of the key things is that investor confidence is not in Kenya. Now, what does the president need to do to increase investor confidence in Kenya? Because for sure, that's true. Samia
sema mwezi Mei na Juni tumepokea wawekezaji kiasi ambacho hatujawahi kupokea, wengi mno, na thamani ya miradi iliyokuja ni hii. Lakini ukitizama sababu ni nini? Sababu ni kwamba kwa jirani kuna waka moto, na mwekezaji hakai kuna kwa waka moto, wanakimbia wanakuja.
I said kumewaka moto, and that is one of the things, one of the key indicators of our country is a rule of law. We have had protests in Kenya which have become very violent, and I think that's what Suluhu meant, kumewaka. Now, we have had this protest and we have had very many issues. And how do you think did Ruto handle the protesting in Kenya? Ben?
Yeah, he mishandled it. Thank you for asking me. He mishandled it totally because he had power, tools of, he has all the tools to control the country and the democracy and the whole the rule of law. That I thought that he knows exactly what he wants to do. He didn't do it. He went the street. He did exactly what he was against in 2007. Remember when they were with Raila? He was against the government. He said we were killing the same people. Ruto himself is doing the same thing. So when the country is on fire, normally nobody could come and invest. He has done that terribly. And he thought that Uhuru did a terrible mistake to invite Raila on the table. He has, I think, realized that he could have done it into 2-3 months. He could have salvaged the country. So the best thing I could recommend to him, as you are asking, is to invite Raila, number one, on the table. And the rule of law. We have democracy. Ruto is an educated person. Let him obey the law, the rule of law, as he said. Then the country will be, it will grow. And then he can create jobs. He said he will create jobs, 100,000 of jobs. He has created none. Remember, I can mention Washiningisu. You remember what happened? There's that lady who stood and said, you, governor, you have done more damage to us. That's exactly what's going across the country in Kenya.
Okay. Dr. Ndim.
Again, when you hear kumewaka moto, there is more to it, because investors never woke up one morning and decided to free the country because there were riots on the streets, because it takes a long time to even identify where you're running to. The protests were really the tipping point. The investors were already searching for where to go, given the fundamentals of the economy were not working. And when the protests came, that was the tipping point for them to move away from Kenya. Because here, listen, Mama huyo Samia alisema, she said, kumewaka moto. So talk about, give an example here where if you call people to the streets and people are fed, they have a job, they are hopeful, will those people come to the streets to riot? Probably not. But because already people are angry, people have no jobs, people are losing whatever small they had, any small person who agitates for them to stand up for themselves will attract crowds. So really, Raila is just an epitome. He's just a center of things. He's not the one who is doing these things. He's just people are looking at him and saying, can you speak on our behalf? Can you speak on our behalf?
Yeah.
In fact, President Ruto should be happy to be dealing with Raila. I know one of the senators said that you should be happy dealing with him, because if he's not there, then you'll be dealing with millions of Kenyans who will not be listening to you. So, in other words, we are asking him to do exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Listen to Kenyans. If he thinks it's listening to Raila, then he's wrong, because they're always pumping and saying it's him, it's Raila, it's right. It's not Raila. It's them who are actually supposed to stand in front of the mirror and look at themselves and know exactly what they're doing wrong. Raila could not be attracting so many thousands of people. In fact, for the first time in the Kenyan history, in rural areas, Kenyans were protesting. In small local villages, Kenyans were protesting. Previously, we only saw Kenyans protesting in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, those big cities. But now, I hear people were protesting in small rural areas like Nyamache, Keroka, and those other small towns dotted across the country, which means the Hasra narrative that swept him into power is actually turning against him. The tide is actually very strong, very strong. Unless he stops it, it's going to sweep him off.
Yeah, and on the same note you are saying, I was recently in Kenya, and when they announced the demonstration for 3 days, Even the matatu operators were not operating. Nobody was on the road. Even the matatu which was operating, there were no passengers. There was no business. Shops were closed. Don't you think this one continues to hurt the economy with the protests?
Definitely, because as Daktari has said, you know what they are forgetting. In East Africa, Daktari, people respect Kenya. Kenya is United States in Kenya, in East Africa, actually, because of peace. People would like it. Tanzania have been there. I've been in Uganda. Ugandans, they want to be in Kenya. So when the president, they are seeing that there is no organization in Kenya, they are clapping their hands. Because the tourism, the tourists who go to Kenya, they give us a lot of money to the economy of the country.
Yeah,
so
but then they are saying it's because of the protests. So the really people who are causing the problem are the people who are protesting, making people to run away from Kenya.
No, is the president the problem? The president is the problem.
So actually, it is. What is causing these people to go to the streets? Yeah. That's what we need to ask. The question is, what is causing them to go to the streets? If these people had enough food in their homes, if they are able to afford transport to their workplaces, if they are able to take their children to school, and on, these people will not be pouring into the streets. So we shouldn't be accusing those people who are already victims. They are already victims. We need to look at what is causing all these. Is the fundamentals of the policies of the Kenya Kwanza administration. That is exactly where the answer is.
So giving a scorecard this year. So what would you say? Did he handle the protesters in the right way? What would you give? What scale from 1 to 10? How much would you give? How they handled the protesters?
Okay. It's 1.
1.
1. Because he was against the protesters, and he actually was aiming to kill. Look at what happened in Nyanza and even Sondu. And then more so, Daktari, we have never had this. People go to the houses and pick people and kill them. How can the government do that? There's an evidence of that. So this president and this government, they are doing more harm to wananchi who voted for him, in quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we can witness what we witnessed in the last protest, where tens of Kenyans were injured, and some of them were actually shot and killed.
Yeah,
I know they are combining, and therefore formulating a case. I think they are going to launch a case and put people to account at the ICC. I hope they will hold some people to account, because a government that turns against its people shouldn't be in power anymore. I know the present IG, that's Inspector General Police, went missing during the protests. I think he was sitting in his home, wondering whether he would be the next one sitting at ICC, like the previous Inspector of Police. Was it Mohammed? I can't remember his name. And the previous one who was taken to ICC before Kome. I think Kome is in trouble, including even the current CS Interior. They made lots of noise during Matiang'i's period, but I think this last protest really exposed this administration. They're more brutal. You disarm people by being more gentle. If the police were not all over the place, whipping people and chasing people and holding even MPs, remember they went scattering MPs from their homes and locking them up. That used to happen during the one-party state. So it's really a pity that they were handling people like that. And when people go underground, it's going to be bad. And the populace in Kenya today are more enlightened, and the communication and dissemination of information is so easy. It would be so bad for the government. I think they better step back and do a reflection on what they did. It was really -1% I would give them.
On
Yeah.
top of what the Dr. said, I wanted to add something on there. If it's true that the prosecutor of ICC was in Kenya and he was invited by the president, who knows what he talked to to him about, or he was corrupting him. I was listening to that some of the people who were commenting about it. So this president knew exactly what he has done. Now he wanted to go ahead and counter. What we want to tell the president that people, as Dr. said, these people in Kenya, people are more knowledgeable because of the technology that we have. It's not the Kenya of the 20 or 15 years ago. Let him do the right thing and protect the constitution and protect the people of Kenya.
Yeah, exactly.
Kwani ni nyoka? Hii kamera yangu ishike poa. London wakiniona wanaweza nifyatua.
Terrible.
Such like in this era and age, that is what was happening in the country. And one other thing, what are some of the possible things that this administration has done for 1 year? They were elected to office.
You know, I was looking at the list of the promises versus what they have fulfilled 1 year down the road. I think the percentage of what they have fulfilled, I don't know. It's hard to pin something down. You know, we have seen the president more active than any other president. I think he's more active than even Moi was on the road. Mm-hmm. He travels more to the rural areas, to all parts of Kenya, to launch projects. And those projects, unfortunately, were from the previous administration. Those projects, at least, were started by the previous administration. Mm-hmm. He's going to launch and even reopen. They were opened already. Reopen those that were already functionally open, working. To perhaps take credit. So I don't think he has done anything, because this previous, and the reason why I'm saying this is because in June was the first time he had his financial statement policy that was going to enable him to fulfill some of his promises. And that financial statement itself is very controversial, as you know. And we are still yet to see how he will implement. I think, in my opinion, if you ask what he has achieved, very small, if anything, or little, if anything. I think if we come back next year today, we might be able to reflect and say, was the first financial statement that he made and crafted for himself as a Kenya Kwanza administration, did it go far enough to really produce the results, the intended results, and fulfill the promises that he promised Kenyans?
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, Ben.
This president is a failure on terms of what he has promised us. Remember, he said ASLA fund. Himself, he said he's failing because people are not paying back. Already, we have lost billions of money. Secondly, if Dr. you are comparing him with Moi, my friend, Moi used to call every province before he visits, and he knows exactly what he is going to do there. This president is just going around the country without even using the intelligence that he has. He knows that in Nyanza, there's nothing. Let
us, before we digress.
Okay.
Before we digress, there is a point we wanted to talk about the finance bill. He proposed to increase taxes.
Yeah.
Based on what the needs of the country were. We had maturing debt which needed to be paid, which the previous government had taken. So Was it a mistake that he increased the taxes because he needed to collect more money to pay debt, to do other things? Was there anything particularly wrong you can specify on that financial bill?
You
What,
want me to you want me to
yes,
answer?
yes. Uh-huh.
The approach of collection of taxes or revenue, I always say that's a good approach, but to wrong people. Because in America, if you give an example of collection of taxes, actually that's why I think this country is growing. People even sacrificed 1946. They said we are going to give more than what the government wants from us. Because there's no corruption, they collect the revenue, they started building what we are seeing in this country now we are enjoying. Kenya is collecting revenue, but he's stealing them. The corruption is there. So the approach was, and how you want to tax people who are not even having anything to eat? You are taxing even those who don't have. Yes, collection of revenue is good, but wrong people.
How is he collecting from those who don't have?
Yes, remember there was a lady who came and said, I can't fix my air because the increasement of fixing air is up. So that lady is going to pay what they doesn't have to fix the air. That's the
Well, everybody here pays sales tax, whatever. There are no people except if you are a pastor and the church.
Yeah, but
when you are tax exempt.
But let me see, Doctor. Here they create jobs first. They give money to the system.
No, Ben, I want to hold you accountable for what you said. If a lady is going to fix her hair, is buying the hair, is paying sales tax, which means he can afford. Why are you saying he can't afford? We want to separate meats and say that if we are collecting
the argument is good, but are you going to fix the air and the food is high too? Unga iko high. Unaenda kununulia watoto unga ama unaenda kufix air?
No, it's a matter of choice. That is the choice of a family.
So this president, he doubles the taxes, everything. That's what we are saying.
No, I wanted you to pick one. Dr. Nim, what do you say about that? We have to be honest, because if we are, we need to educate people to understand what exactly.
Absolutely, and what people don't know is, and I'll start from the raising of taxes. And taxes and paying of taxes is very critical for growth of any society, because it's from the taxes that we get the common goods, and common goods are things like the roads, the water system, and the government running smoothly to provide services. However, you just simply ask how is he taxing even those who don't have? It's a simple way. When you increase taxes on things like gas or paraffin or oil, you are taxing even the untaxable people, because every single person uses or travels around, either they're using matatus or they're using tukutukus or they're using boda podas. So the gas they're putting into that machines that are transporting people has doubled the taxation which is passed on to the consumers. So every single Kenyan who is moving around, who is spending wherever it is, talk of even those produce that come to the market. They come because they have been transported by way of use of petroleum products. So that's how he's actually taxing every single Kenyan. And he was very smart. He knows even those who don't have, like my brother Penn mentioned, they got to pay tax into this. And the only way I can reach into their pocket, increase the cost of petroleum products. And that's exactly how he did it. Just by simply saying from 7% to 16%, from 8% to 16%. So he doubled the tax on every single Kenyan. That's how he did it. Number two, look at the produce in the market. Look at the products in the market. Sugar was going for 200 shillings. It's now 400 shillings. Look at, so he's taxing every single Kenyan. Who doesn't use sugar in Kenya? Everybody wants sugar, right? So that's how he's taxing so the sales tax is how he's getting every single Kenyan to pay taxes.
Are you complaining that he's taxing more, or he's taxing a bigger base, which he's not supposed to do?
Yeah, here is how the economy works from where I sit. If you tax more, people are more likely to be disincentivized from working and producing. But if you reduce taxes, more people are willing to put in more energy and they produce more, and therefore you get more money into the tax system. So if you tax more and the economy is on its deathbed, you're more likely to kill that economy. The best way of opening up the economy is to incentivize people to produce more, tax them less, have more people produce. Now he's taxing more and more and more. And those people who are very interested to invest are saying, you know what, I may not invest. This is too much tax. I cannot afford it. And I know a few friends of mine who are small scale employers who are saying now they are considering firing their employees and hiring them on contract so that they remove them from the payroll, because the current financial statement says that for every employee that you have, you're going to pay 1.5% of what they earn, plus the employee will also pay 1.5% of what they earn to the National Housing Corporation to give people houses. I know people are going to lose jobs, and people are going to therefore their families are going to be miserable, and therefore people are going to lose their income. That is how he's killing the economy. And number three, it's unfathomable that he's forming a kitty somewhere known as some financial construction home, something that is going to create millions of jobs somewhere for houses that we don't know who will be given, for houses for people who don't even want those houses. People will go for houses if they have food to eat. You don't just building a house when you have no place food to eat, no clothes to wear. The basics are food, clothing, and housing. You are not jumping from food. People don't have food. He should be looking at the food first. People don't have food. People have no clothes.
Okay. Now, okay, Ben, you wanted to say something? Oh, wait, Ben.
Yeah, I want to add something small on what Dr. said. The basic commodities, which everybody uses, you reduce them. As in America, they say from 250 Obama said and above, you pay taxes. What does that mean? If you want to buy a car, you pay more because you can afford it. But if you are going to buy food because there is a person here who's not working, but I can afford that food, reduce that commodity. If you increase gas, then as the secretary said, I'm going to use the transportation, I have to pay more fare. So I'm paying for the taxes that Ruto is killing us with. So the approach was good to the wrong people.
Okay, I have a comment. Yes, somebody has given a comment that Ruto does not respect the law, and he shows hatred and vengeance, and that is why he attacked Northland, and he has been attacking the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. Do you think he is unjustified to attack the former president?
Yes. If you remember the late Biwott, actually he talked to him directly. That clip, I don't know whether next time you can bring it and people will listen to it. He talked to Ruto directly on the face. He said when he was in the vice president. He told him, you are the vice president, don't come for the smaller people. You are up there. And akamwambia umeremewa, people are up. So this president is not taking his position up there to protect the people. He is not protecting the constitution that he promised to behold. When the court is saying this, he goes around it for his benefit. This president should listen to people. Look at the parliament. He has corrupted all the MPs to listen to him for his agenda to go through. That's not a democracy. You are twisting the law to fit you. So he should be protecting the constitution and follow the law.
Ben, why do you want to say that we corrupted the members of parliament? You voted members of parliament. They are people who should make their own decision. they can agree or disagree. Why do you want to put a blame on the president and not on the members of parliament?
Are you the feast in Jerusalem? Are you the only feast in Jerusalem? He called people in the White House and Karen, and then in a group of people, tomorrow these people are singing a different song. They say, you know, we are working with the president. What does that tell you? These people have been corrupted. In being given money or convinced in a way to protect him. He doesn't say, let's go debate on this.
Whoever is corrupting the other one, if you elected a good leader, he should stand on his own.
He warned them. You know, these people are always angry. They don't have anything to eat. You are not, let me tell you, you don't have a principle to guide you. Let me tell you, you can be sweet and you don't have money. So what he told you that I'm waiting for the MPs who are going to vote against. What does that mean? And you are a president. As Dr. Mudimu said, you are a president, whatever you say, it adds up. It makes a difference.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Mudimu.
Yeah, your original question was, will he be going to attack the previous president? The answer is no, absolutely not. If you go back to the history of this nation, which is very young yet, we had a 2002 when the late President Moi was handing over power after being at the helm for 24 years, and he was handing over a nation that was in tatters. He was handing over a nation that was reeling from division, from murders, from so many atrocities that had occurred, especially prior to the multi-party system. When President Kibaki took over, his focus never really went back to Moi. He focused on the economy, he focused on the Kenyan people. And that's how we were able to rise from where we were to the levels that he left us. And when President Kenyatta took over power, he never went back to look at what failures were in the previous administration. He focused on how he could deliver to the promises he gave Kenyans. Now we have this new president, who is President Ruto, whose focus, actually the first 1 year, has been focusing on one single man, Kenyatta, and what he never did, Kenyatta and what he did wrong, Kenyatta, and on and on and on. And they are, for the first time in history, they even went stripping the oldest matriarch in the nation, Mama Ngine Kenyatta, taking away, and that's really bad. It's trivial. It's not like a president. He has gone beneath the office of that presidency. A president is a person who serves his people. He sometimes talks like we have two Kenyas. He's talking about wale watu. He forgets he's the president of every single Kenyan. However it is, he's still the president. He should treat them with the respect they deserve. Leave alone a person who is the president, who is his predecessor. Respect comes if you give respect. You can never demand for respect. He's demanding for respect because he knows people are not respecting him, and the reason why they don't is because of what he does.
Withdrawing security from the former first lady. That is the presidency. That is the office. You say that it's not getting security because the government is doing them a favor. It's their right by constitution of the office they had.
Correct. And I was going to add that he has really discredited that office. He has made a trivia of the presidency. And I hope he listens to some of these voices that are coming from people who are probably not very close to him, when they were saying that they took away the police because the police were needed to quell the protests. Really, honestly, taking away the security of an old mama who is in almost 100 years was beneath of the stage of that office. Honestly, it's just so bad. It's trivial. I'm ashamed of saying that he's the president of the Republic of Kenya. Really.
Now, how has he done with the tribalism? For the whole year, he has been making appointments, more especially appointments to major parastatals, and it has been alarming that even some of the few appointments looking like the public service is being collegianized. See all those capital market, somebody Kiprono, Sami Choge, rural electrification, Irene Chepukrui, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, Standard Kipsigo Yego, National Standards Council, Eric Langat, Communication Authority, David Mutai, Youth Fund, Chepchumba Koskei, Women Enterprise Fund, Patrice Chumba, and the many parastatals. I think some of them you have seen. Is this a way that we are fighting corruption? What we have to say about those appointments and the many you might have?
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, you have asked Dr. a very good question. This president is a tribalist, a very worst person we have ever had. Actually, the vice president said it all, that they have an organization with shares. So what he's doing, those who protected him from where he comes from, is exactly what he's doing. And actually, Dr., let me tell you the truth. Even if we talk until the cow come home, this president will not listen to anything, and he will not even care. I'm telling you the truth. Nothing will shock this president. Nothing. He can do it daylight, and he doesn't even care. Tomorrow he's in Nyanza saying, I'm working for you. So what we can say is that this president, let that a few days go and he goes home. But because he has done more harm than good.
Oh, Ben, I want you to tone down a bit. Democrats sometimes he's your president.
How can you elect everybody from
the president? Okay, Dr. Nimu.
I respect him, but he's doing harm. Yeah, I respect him as a president, but he's doing harm.
Worldwide, when there is a democracy, the first year in office for any president, too much. They are tough years and tough months, because there's no training for you to be president of a nation before you become one. So the first year is really a testing ground, and you call it baptism by fire, and you're tested by so many things. Even in the United States, when you become president the first time in office, a few things are tested on you. The opposition are really hard on you. International communities are hard on you to see how far you can cave and how tough you are. So this last year has been a tough year for the president. Hopefully he learns from those downsides, especially to wake up and run. And we wish him well, because if he succeeds, we all succeed. And if he fails, we all fail. I always say that I wish him the best, and may he learn from the lessons that he has been able to learn from these many failures that he has achieved. Again, listen, and this is very intentional from the many failures that he has achieved. So we want to be very careful not to bring him down, because he was already down. Because as soon as we bring him down, all of us are going down with him. Yeah. This is the nation that he's holding. So we need to correct him, provide criticism that will correct him to do the right things.
Yeah. What would you tell? How does he have to tell? He has loose cannons, starting with the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, and this guy Ichung'wah, who is the majority leader. They will be doing a great service to him. What can you advise him to do to tame his close friends who hold very senior positions?
I mean, Doctor, we can advise him if he feels that he needs advice. This president is enjoying what he's saying. What can you advise him?
Supposing he has given you 2 minutes to advise him, what will you tell him then? Ben, you are so bitter.
What are you advising? That's somebody who is very content and very proud of what he has around him. Remember, he said that, PSS who are here and CS don't know even information. I know more than them. He converses like Uhuru conversed. What do you want me to do? The same thing. Now I want to advise something who knows what he's supposed to do. I advised him last time. I said, fire the people around you first. who are giving you wrong information. Use somebody else like Moi. Call and find out from outside. Then act on it if you have a heart of the Kenyans. But this president, I don't think he has a heart for Kenya.
Okay, Dr. Dim.
Absolutely. You know, the first time, like I mentioned before, you select people whom you think will perform. He selected the best. And when you have given a chance and space to perform and you see that they are not performing, I think it's high time for him to do what we call a reshuffle, either drop some or serve them around to see where they can fit best. I think it's about time for him to relook into the his structure of the government and put people in the right seats. So he has to move people around so that he can see who can perform where. Because, for example, we have a number of people that you are not performing. I don't know who is performing, by the way. Factually, we don't see any CS who is performing. The only person who was given an opportunity to perform by the protests was Professor Kidiki, who actually he went flat down. He's being a professor in law now has been put to question because people are saying you are a professor in law, but you are breaking every single law that actually protects Kenyans. So in this case, we don't have any performing minister. And if you go back to a clip that we had a few months ago, I think I was very specific about his nature of leadership. He's all too much hands-on that makes everybody cringe. Even those who can perform don't really know what they need to do. So he needs to take his hands off and let those performers perform. I think he also needs to go back and look at himself in the mirror and see, what am I doing wrong? How can 23 cabinet secretaries, nobody signing? How can it be? Then he needs to look at himself and say, maybe his style of leadership is making those people afraid to perform. And I mentioned this several months ago, that his way of leadership is not good. It's not empowering. It's too micromanagement. It's too much of it. I know he knows it because he mentioned about it. He should change that.
Yeah, well,
ninakuanga naye hapa kwa mfuko. Rais akisema nataka tuangalie fulani, nasema ngoja kidogo rais, narudi kwa mfuko, naangalia shares, tuna It's true. Mimi ndio nimesikia watu ya Taita Taveta, watu ya Mandera mnalia mambo ya share. Asi yenu iko kidogo. Na watu ya Jubilee, it's true. Mimi ndio mtu anapanga maneno ya shares kwa serikali ya William Ruto.
Are those words really supposed to come from a deputy president? That shares, we have shares.
Yeah, we talked about it like that last time. We said that's not the government. And that is the problem. That's right there. So I can advise the president on one thing like that. Let him go back to State House to see how Kibaki worked and sit down. Ask the CS to go back and think, use their brain and work. Don't follow him every town he's going, all CSS 3, 5, 10, all of them wasting gas and everything resources to go to where he's going every day. Kibaki could not go to White House. He goes to the office and sit down and think on how to serve the Kenyan people.
Okay. Yeah, our time is coming to an end.
Thank you.
I think we have got that. We have so many misses and targets hit. So we hope to see the next coming year, see what they do with their work. Oh, Doctor. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. I don't know. Are you muting yourself?
No, I was saying that he has 4 years. I was saying that he has 4 years to go. So we'll be looking at how he performs in the next 12 months again to see if he's taking the country in the right direction from the wrong direction where it is right now.
But Kenyans are not ready for the training job. We are not training for the job. He let him sit down and start working. We gave him a job. This is not for experiment like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. We have to continue next time.